on Paval with Access Arts Live. If you've been following, you may have noticed we have been having technical problems this evening, but we are finally up and going with our latest update for you on all the performing arts live streams that we could find that are coming up this week. And it's starting out right away Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday with the 16th annual Concours Geza Anda, which is a piano competition for young people consisting entirely of piano concertos. So Wednesday and Thursday night, 7 o'clock p.m. Central European time. There will be three different Mozart concertos each evening, if you like Mozart. And these are up and coming, highly competitive pianists. They may be the stars of tomorrow, they may not. And then Saturday at noon is the finale. And all of this is coming to you from a place called the Stadthaus Winter Tour, which is apparently Europe's oldest concert hall. So you might want to tune in to just see what Europe's oldest concert hall looks like. And the orchestras will be the Music Collegium Winter Tour for the semifinals, and then the Tonhalle Orchestra in Zurich for the finale on Saturday at noon. We'll give you the live stream links and precise times for everything I'm talking to you about in the comment section. Now, then at week's end, we have a triple bill of concerts. If you don't want to hear any of them, I'd be surprised. There's two operas at the same time, so you're going to have to make a choice. And in addition to that, there is a lovely concert. So to begin with, Opera Vision is live streaming opening night at the Poznan, Poland Opera's new production of Puccini's Manon Lescaut, 7 o'clock Central European Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. It's free of charge. All of Opera Vision's live streams are free of charge. They are project funded by the European Union. It's a consortium of opera companies, and it's really a real gift to opera lovers all over the world. Puccini's Manon Lescaut was his first international success. It's a lovely piece. If you don't know the story, it's the story of a very young woman who's destined to go to the convent, but instead she meets a handsome young stranger and she runs away with him to live happily. Well, no, not to live happily ever after, because she does run away with him, but then after that, she ends up with a very wealthy nobleman because she is also desirous of wealth and comfort. But then once she does that, then she's dissatisfied with it and she's longing for a young lover. And without giving away to the ending, if you're just discovering it, this kind of a story maybe cannot end well. The libretto took 7 people to write this complicated story, including Puccini himself and his publisher. The director is Gerard Jones, who is a former winner of the European Opera Directing Prize, and the conductor is Marco Guidera. Now, simultaneously, the Berlin Philharmoniker is also live streaming at the same time on Saturday Honegger's oratorio on the life and death of Joan of Arc, Jeanne d'Arc au Bûcher, with Alan Gilbert, who's always terrific, directing. Now, this one isn't free of charge, although we wish it were. But you can get a 1-week digital subscription to the Berlin Philharmonic for €9.90, or about $11. And if you really wanted to enjoy this, it might be worth your while. It certainly would cost you a lot less than it would to walk in the door of any opera house in the world and see it in person, and it is live. Honegger's oratorio tells the story of Joan of Arc from her own point of view, looking back on her life in the midst of this show trial, which is going to condemn her to death at the stake, au bûcher. There's a speaking role, therefore, for Joan of Arc, which is played by the Oscar-winning French actress Marion Cotillard. So that's going to be really great. And singing the role of La Vierge is Elsa Benoit, who is doing a fair amount of singing with the Berlin Philharmonic this year because she's terrific. Coloratura soprano. So, Manon Lescaut at no charge, or Honegger's Jeanne d'Arc au Bûcher for $9.90 or $11. It's a choice. But the one thing you can be sure of is to see either of these, to enjoy either of these live, is a wholly different experience than looking at a dead recording of it. to enjoy it live while other people are enjoying it at the same time. There's a kind of communion that takes place, and a kind of connection with the artist who are performing in the here and now, or the now and sort of the virtual here. And that's what Access Arts Live is all about. Why we're doing these videos. Last but not least, to end the evening, we go back to the United States, and our beloved DSO, the Detroit Symphony Orchestra, has another terrific live stream planned for you. This one, too, is free of charge. All of their live streams are and have been for a decade. They do so many of them. They do something like 20 a year. They'll be performing Beethoven's Fifth under the baton of Jader Bignamini, this year's new musical director for the orchestra. And he's the conductor who sometimes throws away the score because it might get in the way of his contact with the musicians in his orchestra. Now, the timing of this is 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 5 p.m., just late afternoon, Pacific Daylight Time. And yes, it's 2 in the morning, Central European Time, but who goes to sleep early on a Saturday night? If you're in one of the European capitals or elsewhere. And even if you were planning on it, wouldn't it be worth staying up late for a great concert? But the program starts with a lovely little piece called, as it were, quote unquote, a short piece for orchestra by an African-American woman composer, Julia Perry, who came from Kentucky in the U.S. and who made a big splash internationally in the 1950s and 60s, before my time, of course. This is followed by yet another piece, which seems to be a part of this Weinberg, this Mieczysław Weinberg revival. Sorry if I have trouble pronouncing that Slavic name. Last week, his opera The Passenger was live streamed by Eurovision from the Teatro Real in Madrid, and we told you about that. And this week, the DSO is live streaming Weinberg's Cello Concerto. Now, the cellist is somebody who NPR, National Public Radio in the U.S., has described as, quote unquote, nothing less than the future of classical music. So he might be worth giving a listen to. His name is Sheku Kane-Mason. So just like last week when they had that rock star violinist, Nemanja Radulovic, now there's a rock star cellist playing as the soloist with the DSO. Kane-Mason also has a number of albums out. His latest one is called Song. It has some collaborations on it. He writes some of his own arrangements. They're published by Faber. His album Elgar in 2020 actually made the top 10 of all musical albums in the UK in that year, which is really something. So he has played with all the top well, not all, but many of the top orchestras in Europe and in the US. After this concert, he's on his way to San Francisco, Perth, Australia, then the Royal Albert Hall, and then finish up at the Elb Philharmonic, which, by the way, also does a fair number of live streams. So maybe you'll see him in a live stream from there. So we will add the link to Kane-Mason's own website in with the other comments. Obviously, Jader Bignamini chose to finish off his first season conducting this, the DSO with a bang and with the great classical Beethoven's Fifth. And I find it hard to believe that he won't do it justice. And sometimes hearing one of these very familiar classics is a terrific experience. I mean, they aren't familiar classics for nothing. That's it for today. By all means, follow us, follow Access Arts Live on its various pages on Facebook and TikTok and Twitter and LinkedIn and Instagram, and repost these things that we put up to help us build the kind of large global audience that can make live streaming available and financially sustainable on a much more frequently. When I talk about putting together a large global audience, here's what I mean. There are TikTok and YouTube videos where 10, 20, 30, 40 million people have viewed a video of someone singing opera, of a ballet dancer, and not necessarily famous ones. There is a Vivaldi chamber music viral video that has been viewed by 140 million people. Imagine if Bignamini conducting Beethoven's Fifth were to be heard by 20, 30, 40 million people all around the world, or 140 million like that Vivaldi viral video. Imagine all at once, live, everyone in harmony, living the same vibrations of sound and the same meaning and the same beauty, what that could contribute to the global community, to bringing us all together and promoting greater understanding and common inspiration. I mean, it boggles my mind when I think of it. And it can be done because it's already being done with viral videos. So thanks again for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this. And there will be more. We will send you out announcements on a regular basis on our various social media sites for each of these live streams that I've told you about with the link. But we'll also put all the links and the dates and the times in the comment section, as I